want to win this way, Democrats. I'm a Democrat. Not pleased about this. Not trying to be, I really don't want to add any type of emotional or political fury into this. This is not the way we want to win, because this is sick, and all of you need to come clean, get a spine, do what's right. How can you endorse this candidate? How can you look in the mirror or look at your constituents, no matter what you need to pander to? How can you endorse this candidate?
I want to specifically address the family members that are here. There is no theory of the prosecution, Mr. Schiff, because there is no prosecution. There's a very big difference between a prosecution where you already have reached a conclusion and you're just trying to prove it to people. This is an investigation, which is why it's so sad that nowhere in that stack that you just put up there, where the emails of Secretary Clinton, the emails of the ambassador, 50,000 pages worth of documents, eyewitnesses, that's the real tragedies. This is not a prosecution, Mr. Schiff. You and I are both familiar with them. I've reached no conclusions, and I would advise you to not reach any conclusions either until we reach the end. There are 20 more witnesses. So I'll agree not to reach any conclusions if you'll do the same.
Did the FBI investigate her statements under oath on this topic?
Not to my knowledge. I don't think there's been a referral from Congress.
Do you need a referral from Congress to investigate her statements under oath?
Sure do.
You'll have one.
Yeah, you don't need a permission slip from Congress to find out if somebody violated the law, and it is against the law to provide false statements to Congress.
So what was all that referral stuff?
Well, what he was very careful, the Director Comey said that she didn't lie to them. But, you know, the public comments are one area, but when you lie under oath, that's a whole nother level. And I was trying to get there because I wanted to know if that went towards her intent. But to say they didn't even look at it, that was kind of ridiculous. The other bit of revelation that came out of this is there were up to 12 people who didn't have the requisite security clearance that the Secretary gave that information to. So during the hearing, he said she might not have been as sophisticated enough to know how technology and email and servers work.
She was making excuses for it. But even so, you know, another thing that struck me about the investigation is that I think Secretary of Clinton should have been questioned by the FBI at the top of the investigation, not 2 days before Comey came out. Don't you?
Well, it's a common investigative tactic to interview somebody at the beginning, do your investigation, then interview them at the end and see what sort of conflict there is. But, he laid it out what he did, and the American public gets to make the decision. If it were up to me, it'd be a different conclusion.
They already made the decision. It's pretty, and whether they care enough to vote against Mrs. Clinton, we don't know. But in my opinion, he's probably going to, talk to you guys a little bit, but it's going to be, she didn't know at the time when she was misleading that she was misleading.
She's the Secretary of State. She wasn't the head of Fish and Wildlife.
But you know what I'm saying to you is true. You know it's not going to come back your way. It's not.
I can't argue with you, Bill.
Right.
No.
Your server was physically located on your property, which is protected by the Secret Service. Now, I'm having a hard time figuring this out because this story's been all over the place, but there was one server on your property in New York and a second server hosted by a Colorado company and housed in New Jersey. Is that right? There were two servers?
No. There was a server
Just
that
one?
was already being used by my husband's team, an existing system in our home that I used, and then later, again, my husband's office decided that they wanted to change their arrangements, and that's when they contracted with the company in Colorado.
And so there's only one server? Is that what you're telling me? And it's the one server that the FBI has?
The FBI has the server that was used during the tenure of my State Department service.
Okay. In your statement, you said which was protected by the Secret Service. Why'd you mention the Secret Service?
Well, because
here's what I'm thinking. Could a Secret Service agent standing at the back door of your house protect someone in Russia or China from hacking into your system? Why'd you mention the Secret Service agent?
out of just an abundance of being transparent.
Transparent, what's the relevance to protecting from classified information?
There was nothing marked classified on my emails, either sent or received, and I want to respond.
Use the right term there. Use marked. Yeah, that's the one. That's
well,
when you use the revised statement there.
Well, Congressman, there was a lot of confusion because many Americans have no idea how the classification process works, and therefore I wanted to make it clear that there is a system within our government, certainly within the State Department, where materials that is thought to be classified is marked such so that people have the opportunity to know how they are supposed to be handling those materials. And that's why it became clearer, I believe, to say that nothing was marked classified at the time I sent or received it.
Let me ask you, Director, did any uncleared individuals receive any classified information over Hillary Clinton's server?
Did any uncleared people receive classified information? I don't think any of the correspondence on the classified emails were uncleared people. These were all people with clearances working, doing State Department business on the unclassed system.
Did Mr. Pagliano have the requisite security clearance?
As I sit here today, I can't remember. He was not a participant on the classified email exchanges, though.
But he was running the server. He set it up.
That's a different question. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question then. Yeah, there's no doubt that uncleared people had access to the server, because even after Pagliano, there were others who maintained the server who were private sector folks.
How many people without a security clearance had access to that server?
More than 2, less than 10.
Did Secretary Clinton's attorneys have the security clearances needed?
They did not.
Does that concern you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean, here, Hillary Clinton gave direction to her attorneys without a security clearance to go through documents that were classified.
Yeah, I think that's what happened in fact. Whether that was the direction is a question I can't answer sitting here.
Parsing that one a little bit for me.
No, you were just asking me. I don't
What's
know.
the consequence? They don't work for the government. We can't fire them.
Right.
So is there no criminal prosecution of those attorneys? Should they lose their bar license? What's the consequence to that?
Well, if they acted with criminal intent or acted with some malintent.
What you're telling us is it doesn't matter if you have a security clearance or not. Because I may be innocent enough. Hey, I'm just an attorney. I like the secretary. I'm trying to help Hillary Clinton. I'm not trying to give it to the Chinese or the Russians. I'm just trying to help her. So there's no intent? It doesn't matter if these people have security clearances?
Of course it matters. That's why I said that.
But there's no consequence, Director. There's no consequence.
I don't want to win this way, Democrats. I'm a Democrat. Not pleased about this. Not trying to be, I really don't want to add any type of emotional or political fury into this. This is not the way we want to win, because this is sick, and all of you need to come clean, get a spine, do what's right. How can you endorse this candidate? How can you look in the mirror or look at your constituents, no matter what you need to pander to? How can you endorse this candidate?